Nigerians unite against bad government. Unite against any form of incompetence. Unite against ignorance. An ignorant man who wields power is more dangerous than a suicide bomber. An ignorant man with power in his hands is a ticking time bomb. Throw the bones to the dogs and let them battle with the spirits. While the international banter goes on in Nigeria, your president is out to China. They say he's going to sign MOUs, Memorandum of Understanding.
His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will depart for the People's Republic of China, more specifically Beijing, from the nation's capital within the first week of September. Mr. President is to meet with his Chinese counterpart in the person of President Xi Jinping, where several MOUs will be signed. Mr. President will meet 10 selected chief executive officers of 10 major Chinese corporations with assets under management totaling over $3 trillion US dollars across multiple sectors of the economy.
While the people of Nigeria are busy boxing each other, the biggest beneficiaries of their hatred are soaring high. Is it a coincidence that in 2015, the elections were in the corner and some Oba was busy threatening a faction of the country? Is it a coincidence that in 2019, Remi Tinubu was busy threatening a faction of the country? Is it also a coincidence that in 2023, Bayo Ononuga, FFK, Reno Omokri, and many people in the political corridors were busy brandishing the same distraction? Is it now a coincidence too that while Edo State is about to witness a renaissance, it is now Bini versus Igbo? Bini is a people whose cord is not that long with the Igbos. They are very close. We haven't seen them in this kind of tussle. Is it about the narratives that we sustain or our true reality? But the truth remains that even siblings in the same family fight dirty than what we have seen happening in the country. Whereas we condemn every statement threatening any faction of this country, be it from AMAKA, be it from Kayode, be it from Musa, be it from Osaze, be it from anybody, it can never be our true reality. For years, these banters have not taken us deep into the mods. We have been able to, just like we are able to manage in our families. Most of you can attest to what I'm saying, that even in your families, there are fights that are dirtier that you cannot even hear that those people are from the same families. Why are we distracted? For everybody who is offended by utterances coming from every faction, the Igbo, the Yoruba, the Edos, any other faction, I deeply apologize. And I would say that you should not be distracted. I will also say that whoever has made those threats is an infinitesimal portion of the country. They don't represent our true states of minds as people. As a people of the Igbo faction, as a people of the Yoruba faction, as a people from the northern Nigeria, as a people from Benin, and every other beautiful color that Nigeria has. It doesn't reflect our true reality. We are all united in one challenge: the mismanagement of our diversity, which comes from the political class. A critical look at the situation also shows that this trend has always emanated from the quarters of politics, from the embers of those who are desperate to be in power. Why are we aiding them? Why are we helping them? achieve the very selfish reason for which we are torn apart. Your president is already in China. He's signing MOUs and you are busy fighting. But I bet you that these MOUs are what you will have to fight for or fight about for a very long time. Look at the person that is going to sign an MOU.
And distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honor for me to stand before you tonight after a very delicious food. I will not complain that I'm belly full.
These look like somebody who can protect the interests of over 250 million people.
Coming down here from Abuja, to me, it is an homecoming. It's one single family of the continental neighborhood that is bonded as a co-joined twins by the hips. No way.
Does what you had look like something you would want to associate with, or something that will get you the much needed results? Let me tell you what you don't understand. When the Chinese and any other Western force that may be involved comes to the table, they come with a clearer understanding, vision of what they want. When these people appear in suits, jackets, briefcases, they know it's a matter of life and death for their people, for ages to come, for unborn children, for their economy. They don't come to play. Your people come to play. They think it's jamboree and empty political blanket statements. The speech we just listened to from Mr. President is also wooing international investors. And he was talking like he's talking to Ogun State versus Ondo State. I'm sure the people in that room will be wondering, what is this one talking about? But let me not bore you with that. I'm just trying to give you an insight into the problem at hand. Nigerians, follow your president to China. Find out what he's going to sign. I hope it's not going to be another Amosu situation. Who said that he made a mistake in signing what has brought Nigeria an international embarrassment? Something we're still grappling with. They are seizing Nigeria's assets in many countries simply because of somebody who says he made a mistake. What does he mean by making a mistake? These people don't read through. They say when you want to hide knowledge from a black person, from an African, put it in writing. Those papers they bring, somebody has to scrutinize it. Look at the long-term implications. Look at the immediate gain. Look at all that is involved. It's not just about what they speak to you. It's not about what they tell you and the smiles on their faces. It is about what is in it for us. None of them come to play. They are all in for business, knowing full well that they are making a decision that will determine the lives and destinies of a million and billions of their people. But your governments go to those places thinking it's one of those deceptions they do in Nigeria. Follow your president to China, find out what he's signing, the MOUs he's signing with the 10 parastatals, 10 organizations, the world leaders or whatever they call them that they want to sign. There's fire on the mountain. IMF is telling you that your government has to sustain its present economic policies to be able to succeed. Is that what you think? For me, I think that instead of rushing for all these MOUs and business trips and whatever agreements you want to go to reach with any country, you should have strengthened your home front. They don't tell the bees, that there are flowers somewhere. They can perceive it. If Nigeria is working, investors will naturally come. Strengthen your home front, because if you don't, you are going to be signing those MOUs from a disadvantaged position. If you don't have anything to offer, no country will have anything to do with you. They are going to see you as a charity sample. They are going to be doing you favors, and you are going to be going into those agreements as a needy person. For me, I feel that instead of being distracted with who said what, we should follow our president to China. The Chinese understand what is at stake, what it entails for their people. But it looks like your government only understands the trillions of naira for immediate squandering. Nigeria has suffered enough. While African countries are running away from MOUs, Nigeria is running into it. While African countries are crying over agreements that they may never come out from in years, Nigeria is running into that place. There is something about where you know they. They say, where person know they hungry until he enters there. It is never better anywhere. Nigeria, fix yourself and stop running to China for any MOUs. The global south is now a rehearsal ground for US, China, and Russia. Does Mr. President know? Does he also know that Nigeria has the capacity to be a world power? And that more than signing MOUs for railways, military facilities, there's something attached to them. Does Mr. President know that he cannot go to those countries to put up military facilities, whether it is gifted or a presence or whatever, and whosoever you give power over yourself will keep controlling you? I am not personally excited about Mr. President's travel or visit to China. From Guinea to China after an international embarrassment, and you say you're going to sign an MOU. Nigerians, we have a duty to keep following our governments bumper to bumper, knowing what they are dragging us into, and asking them to review their decisions, knowing full well that they only have 4 years to plunge Nigeria into perpetual hardship and neo-colonialism. And for Abike Dabiri, sometimes with the proliferation of these offices, whose responsibilities are repeated, it looks like they don't have any job. It is not the job of Abike Dabiri to checkmate the utterances of Nigerians, whether they are abroad or at home. Your work for the office that you created for yourself is to maintain the dignity of anybody bearing the Nigerian tag in the international community by coming up with programs to rehabilitate your people who are drowning in the Mediterranean Sea, your people who are battered in asylum camps, protecting the rights of your people that are abused in the borders of countries that your policies are pushing them to. Giving Nigerians hope to believe in their country and desiring to stay there. And not brandishing the pictures of a misguided fellow. What Nigerians feel for their intra-nationals, I call them intra-nationals because we are different nationalities in the country striving to make a huge country. What we feel for each other may be resentment and not hatred. It is a common attribute in life. It can be overcome with education. It can be overcome with reducing poverty. It can be overcome with other forms of actualization. And that is what you should be pushing for. To the governing class, who have always planted these narratives to keep us battling with the spirits, as in the dog with the bone. Abike Dabiri, you might still have more work to do to curb them. Because if you sincerely want to reach AMAKA, who is also misguided, you will have to dwell and deal with the root cause for which she lost it. She can never be supported. She doesn't speak for the totality of the Igbos. The Igbo spirit is welcoming, is open. And I believe same for every other nationals in Nigeria, every other group in Nigeria. And if you have to get results, you might need to reach your political class. And start your tutelage from them, telling them that they should not use Nigerians as marching grounds, stepping stones to their ambitions. You might also need to go after Asari Dokubo, who has always brandished weapons and guns, threatening a group of this country, a part of this country, and vice versa. What I see in this whole thing is that person when they look for trouble, no know how far it can go. When you start, you ask yourself, am I ready to go all the way? When the politicians start these things, can they handle the ripple effects? When they start trying to divide the people, because Mr. President in his Miloko speech spoke Yoruba. He said it's Yoruba Loko and one Loko. He activated the Yoruba sentiments. And when they come to the southeast, they will say Igbo. They activate the Igbo sentiment. When they go to Edo State, they will activate the same sentiments, using Nigerians as stepping stones. We refuse to be vulnerable any longer. And I am speaking to any Nigerian today who has never guided his mind to the point of being deceived by a set of people whose agenda has been to perpetuate themselves in power. You need to think again. You need to watch others. You need to ask yourself what you want. You need to also find out whether you can be an island to yourself. If we help the criminals who are cutting away our common patrimony, the states where the lunatics have taken over the asylum and we are aiding them, I don't know where it will take us to. I don't know how long. We have waited for so much to fix us. And we cannot be destroying ourselves yet again. I will keep saying that we are a new generation, a hybrid of the Nigerian state. And what we are battling with is to get an identity, the Nigerian identity. And it is in good governance. It is in respect for the next person. It is in dethroning whatever APC represents. Decadence, destitution. It is in instituting what we think and know is governance for us. That is the new Nigerian identity we are pursuing, where you will not be treated based on your achievements, where you come from, and all the tools the politicians use against us. So when you start, you don't know how far it will go. It's just like that little brother who picks on his elder brother and doesn't know that he might get a slap. Does he also make them enemies? They heal and they move on. If we will heal, we will look at the bigger picture. We will look at a Nigeria that works. We will look at the decisions of government. We will look at how to institute the next working government. We will look at our common limitations. Are you willing to create the new Nigerian identity? I would remind Abike Dabiri that Dora Akunyele worked so hard to create that Nigerian identity. She wasn't even a minister or whatever for diasporans or whatever office. She was just in charge of NAFDAC. And because her work extended to the international community about the perception about Nigeria, she launched several programs. Good people, great nation. She pushed for it. I haven't really understood the jobs of Madame Dabiri. And I think that you should start rebuilding the battered Nigerian identity other than selective justice. Nigerians unite against bad government. Unite against any form of incompetence. Unite against ignorance. An ignorant man who wields power is more dangerous than a suicide bomber. An ignorant man with power in his hands is a ticking time bomb. We must make conscious efforts to redeem ourselves from the embarrassments Nigerians face abroad. We must rebuild home and make home a home. We must lift the flag of Nigeria once again in pride. And it comes with instituting good leadership. Let's start connecting. Let's start building alliances to begin to take power from those who were never supposed to test it. 2027 is nearby. We cannot work for 2027 on the eve of the elections. Start now. Thank you so much for your time.